a very good evening and welcome to the Family Hour here at Church of Uganda Family TV. My beautiful name is Clare, your world's favorite host. How was your day, or how is your day wherever you are watching from? Well, we are here, remember, every Monday to Friday under different themes, and today we are here under the theme of parenting. Yes. Thank you very much for joining in, and do not forget that this show is in partnership with Life Ministry Uganda. You can always check them out on their website or social media platforms. Welcome to the show. Our topic this evening is father's role in raising the children. And guess what? To discuss this great topic, fathers in the building, this is your Friday. To discuss this great topic is none other than Mr. Masiko Austine. Ladies and gentlemen, watching this very show, please join me welcome Mr. Masiko on the show. Thank you. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for coming. We are very happy to have you on the show.
Thank you for inviting me to come and share in this great ministry.
I know, and this is your day, this is your topic as fathers. Will you please say hello to the viewers and then we will start the show thereafter.
Hello viewers, it is my pleasure to be here to present on parenting, especially as far as it concerns men. I was glad when I was invited, and I hope we'll be able to share and learn something from this session. Thank you.
Yeah, happy to have you. And today is actually a very special day. Every time we hear fathers and all that, children tend to have a picture of a father who's very tough. You know, like sometimes when a father comes and everyone is hiding, if you're watching TV, you're running away. So now that you're a father in the building, I want to ask, why do you think that happens? You know, when a father parks and everyone runs, those who are holding remotes, they hide and everything. So why does that happen?
I think in the past, fathers thought it was very difficult to bring up upright children, and therefore they had to instill fear in them so that they can follow the line that the parents were setting. But as time has passed, we've realized that actually you don't have to be a tyrant or a tough man to have good children. And I think over the years, the role of men has changed, and especially with the advent of Christianity, we try to emulate what Jesus taught us, being humble, being firm, but not tyrannical. That's how I would put it. So I think it is possible to have good children without being a harsh father.
Oh, wow. Yes. I think that is a very good one, and we are already learning from you. It's actually possible to have, to be a calm dad, and
yes,
children are so free, yes, around you. Yes. Then it's also said that girl children relate more with their dads, like, yes, they're usually best friends. Yes. Why does it happen like that?
I think it is God's creation, because there is no explanation for that happening, because I can see it in my family. Although I don't discriminate my children, but the girls tend to be closer, to want to be with you. Even now, my grandchildren, without showing any discrimination, but still the girls, the grandchildren girls, tend to come more to me. I think ladies like having a figure they can relate to, and I think they they are easier to manage anyway. So it's very interesting, but you don't have to do anything to attract girls' attention. But if you are kind and especially gentle and you can listen to them, the rule is run to you.
Wow, you tips on how you can have. I mean, that's really, really good. Like, ladies want a listening ear, some, like you're kind and all that. Wow, that's really beautiful.
Yes.
So can you please describe the importance of a father's role in parenting children?
I think fatherhood is actually God ordained. Although we men don't realize that, I think fatherhood is God ordained, because if you read the Bible in Genesis, God said, let's create man in our own image. That is already giving you authority. We are supposed to represent God here on earth. And therefore, if you are a man and you can claim to be a man, you should know that you are a representative of God. You are supposed to provide guidance. You are supposed to provide leadership. And it is a shame that many times men don't recognize that, and they are absent in their families, and they do all sorts of things. But I think fatherhood is God ordained. Wow. It doesn't exclude women, because women and men are partners. But I think as a father, we should be able to give guidance, to show servant leadership like Christ, and actually be like the crystal around which your family operates. That's how I'd look at it. To have a nice crystal, you need the core around which the crystal is built. For the physicists, I think they would understand better. But the man should be the center. And the reason why sometimes you have problems in families, because the men are not playing their role as they ought.
Exactly.
Yes.
Wow. Now, this is actually a very interesting thing. But also, this whole thing leaves me asking questions. Now, the fathers that are parenting children in this era were raised and nurtured differently those days. You see, and yes. Now they are the ones parenting the children of this .com era.
Yes.
Like, what's your take on that? Because I would want to believe that you parent the way you were parented. You do what you know, not what you do not know. So what's your take on that, or what would what would be your advice when it comes to that?
Of course, there is a very big difference in the way we are parented. But as you go through what they call socialization, which is you get from your peers, from your teachers, from the church, it changes how you look at life. And therefore, and then if you are lucky, like me, you become a Christian. And then it changes the paradigm. There is a paradigm shift, how you look at things, how you view people, generally speaking, and that affects how you deal with your family. For me, I think I was very fortunate. When I started working, I was working at a mission station. Therefore, it was a community of Christians in a hospital, and then would have fellowships and would see how those who were already married and had children, how they are bringing them, how they are being nice to them, and therefore we had things to copy from. A man is not an island. You are in a circle of people, and if you are lucky and you are in the right group, you pick the good things which you put in your family. So, and then to add, because either you are badly treated, actually when you grow up, you want to treat people the other way. So, for example, I'm sure at some point we might talk about discipline, and presently the big issue is, should we cane our children, shouldn't we? And I think people who were caned when they were young, they would definitely oppose caning of their children.
True.
And those probably who were never caned, they might try and experiment on their children. But as I, for one, don't think it is a good thing
To cane.
to cane children. I didn't cane my children, and if you met them, I don't think you'd be disappointed.
Wow. So how are you? Now let's even fast forward. Now that you've brought it here right now.
Yes.
So how are you disciplining your children?
There are other ways to discipline children. For example, in families now, you have TV time for the children. Now, if your children misbehave, you can say to them, today, no TV time. Okay? If we had planned to go for a trip, but if you don't pay properly, we're going to stop this trip. And then try and talk, because in fact I think the more you beat children, the more you harden them. When you go to prison, I understand there are people who are innocent, they went to prison, they found the wrong people, and they said, oh, you are innocent. You know? You see? So, and of course, my wife knew that I didn't allow my children to be caned, but sometimes apparently she would go at my back and give them some slaps on the bottom. But
I know, I ask mothers.
so
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think we can have a hard rule on what should happen.
Exactly.
But I think it is better not to traumatize your children by caning them. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's really, really nice. But I one time I actually had someone mention that for us we were beaten and beaten and beaten, and we have come out to be great people. So how come these days people at school don't want to be beaten? Like, I mean, like, they tend to compare those days people who were beaten came out to be great people, and so I really don't know.
I don't think that is the beating that made them better people. Generally speaking, things were difficult generally. And like, if you are lucky and you are allowed to go to school, although they beat you, you'd still continue in the process. If you are lucky, because many were not going to school anyway. And anyway, also the numbers that we are dealing with were very small. But now you have masses of children going through school. Some of them have not been beaten, and they are very, very successful. And so you have a wide sample of people from which you can pick. But in those days, only very few people, in fact the best, were usually allowed to go to school. So if we are 4 in a family and you are not doing well, P5, P6, they stop you. You go and do something else. But now everybody, there is free education.
True.
Everybody can go to school. So I don't think they came out best because they were beaten, but because probably they are good people. But because people are so insensitive, they thought beating children was the only way. That's what they did. And I mean, human beings tend to copy even wrong things.
Quite true.
Yes. Peer pressure. Hey, if you don't beat these children, they are going to to misbehave, you not manage them, you know the stereotypes. So I think because that was the standard. I remember at school, every day there would be a parade for caning children. Every day.
Wow. Oof. Wow.
So you can't convince me that that was the only way to teach us. We could have been taught in a different way. Yes.
Better.
Yes. For example, when I went secondary school, punishment was not caning. There was no caning in my secondary school. So they book you, then Saturday you have to run like 20 laps around a field. And if you're unlucky, you'd run the 20. If you're lucky, the prefect would run once and they tick 2. So, you see the difference?
Exactly.
Even that early, that's we're talking about 50 years ago. But there was a school where there was no cane, where you never saw a cane at all in the secondary school. And yet, I think we did well.
Yeah.
And still, very recently, there are still secondary schools where the headmaster's corner was full of
Sticks.
canes.
Wow.
So, why did we succeed without being caned?
Yeah, what school was that?
Nyakasura School was in Fort Portal, and there are a number of people who came through Nyakasura School, and they were very successful people. Yes.
Wow. Wow. Well, I really, really, really like this, and I'm so amazed at how actually we can do our with a caning all the time.
Yes.
And also I'm just reminded to ask now, what about the toddlers, these young children? When your children were young, how were you disciplining them?
I mean, honestly, I'm sorry, but you see, it's very difficult to see how you can cane a toddler. First of all, their understanding is very small. They will not understand why you have caned them. They will not appreciate it. So why do you do it in the first place? So I think really we used to send children to bed. You know, young children detest going to sleep in the day. So you have made this mistake, you go to bed. Then they go as a punishment, but then they fall asleep, and when they wake up, they have changed and they have forgotten. And they come back to dad, and they go back to mom. And so, it's a very difficult subject, and I'm not going to push it further. But I think there is a place for people not to cane or beat their children. And I think, let me say this to you. I have seen ladies in the village beating their children in a terrible way because they have made a mistake. You know, a child, they're walking on one side of the road and the child is walking on the other side of the road. When a vehicle comes, the child crosses because it is scared and runs to the mother. And when it arrives at the mother slaps them very badly. Whose mistake was it? Is it the child's or the mother's? So, and you've seen all these women, girls who are beating the children they are supposed to be cared for. There is a very good reason to come very hard against people who...
I know.
Because one of the biggest challenges I think young parents have now is getting girls who can take care. of their babies. If you see the nannies, if you see the videos of how some of them treat these young children. Right.
It's such a very sad time.
Yes.
Yeah. So what are some of the common challenges that fathers face in parenting their children?
Now, we have a very big spectrum of dads. We have those who are lucky who have been in school. We are those who have stopped middle, and there are those who have never gone to school. And so their behavior is different. But the biggest challenge is that fathers don't realize how early the children understand. We think the children will start understanding when they are 6, 7, 8. But children actually start understanding right from the first day. And the Europeans say that even when they're in the mother's womb, they can understand that if you are always a sad lady, you're going to produce a
very sad child.
Miserable child.
Oh my God! Wow.
But that's I happen to work in a hospital situation and work with white doctors, and they could explain to us how early these children can actually they have feelings. So one of the challenges is we don't realize how early the children start understanding. That if you smile at them, even when they're very young, but you've seen it, they will smile back to you. If you frown, they can pick that information.
Exactly.
So very many men, they think it's okay. Let me wait when the children are older, then I can come close to them. And then it is very late. You say things in the home, and the children, these young children, pick up what you're saying. So
that's true.
One of the challenges is we don't recognize how early the children start picking up information and respond to it. So number one, we should start showing our children, especially love and affirmation when they are very young. So there are so many dads who don't hold their children when they are babies. They wait until they're
out of the fragile stage.
Yes. And yet, so that's why sometimes the ladies take advantage of us men. They have the babies on the breast, they have them on the on the back, they have them in the chest.
Yeah, like they have a lot of time to bond with them.
Yes, with them. So, what should men do? When the mother has delivered the baby, change their diapers. Be present even at that stage and begin carry it on. Some men don't even go with their ladies for maternity. So, men tend to leave it late. And therefore, they're all the time they are doing a catching up job. When they should have started right at the start, maternity, accompany your wife to clinic. Antenatals, yes. And then at delivery, be present. Of course, I remember when we had our first son, I had to be chased from the labor ward. Because the ladies were uncomfortable having a man in the delivery room. But I wanted to be part
of the process.
Right at the beginning. So men should get involved quite early in the process. That's one of the challenges. Number two, we are busy looking for money, chasing careers, doing business, trying to make money for the family, and that's how we call it. But actually, why do you work so hard and lose what you are working for? Because if you bring money and things, but you are never there, and the children don't recognize you. There are some men, they will come in at around 10, 11, and I'm not going to go beyond that, but I'm sure there are some men who go beyond that. Then they leave very early in the morning. And therefore, they are never in their children's life, especially when they are young. So, when are you going to cover all this period they have lost? So, for me, and I don't know whether that was the thing, I was involved with my children throughout, right from the beginning. And I think the advantage was that my wife was traveling in and out, and therefore I was given a chance to be with the children more. But then it would have been easier for me to neglect them. But I chose that I would be there. Make sure that when they go to bed, I am there. When they wake up in the morning, I am there. Take them to school. Check on them at lunchtime. And I made it a habit. So that when my children were in primary, I made it a point to take them to school every morning.
Wow.
And pick them up.
Fathers.
And
Wow.
pick them up in the evening.
Wow, Mr. Masiko, we will quickly go off for a short break. This show is really, really interesting, and I like that you're giving us hard points here. True points. Dear viewer, please, let's take a short break. This show returns in a bit. Please don't change the station. Welcome back from that short break. I hope you enjoyed whatever you had in the break, be it a cup of coffee or tea or juice or water, whatever it is. Hope you enjoyed it. We are still here. It is the family hour, and my beautiful name is Clare Bwenje. We are in the studio with Mr. Masiko Austine, and he's doing really well. Shout outs to the dear wife. Thank you for sending us your husband, Honorable Winnie Masiko. We say hello to you and thank you. You're well represented here. And back to our show, Mr. Masiko. I am so grateful that you made it here because you are sharing very good facts here. And one of them that has really impressed me is how you are actually encouraging men to always be part of every process. As your wife is pregnant, go with them. Don't say you go, you will tell me what has happened. Be part of the process. Even when the child comes, yeah, do the shush when they are crying in the night. Don't be like, oh, make your baby's making noise at night. I mean, be part of every process. So I am really happy, and this topic is really good. So thank you. Back to you. What advice would you give to fathers who are struggling to connect with their children?
I think really, as we're already sharing, can I just say that maybe people will say because I was taking my children to school in the morning and bring them back home, it's because I was not employed. I was in full employment. So, but I had to make sure that whatever I was doing, I had time for my children. Because my children, my family is actually number one in my life. So, no excuses. Whether you're in full-time employment, whether you are not, your children and your family are number one. Now, what you said, men who are struggling to have a relationship with their children. Someone has said, and I can't quote the person, said they would rather not make their children friends as long as they can instill some discipline in them. And they are saying, even if I am harsh, I'm going to be harsh so that in the end, the children are good. But I don't think that's necessarily true. I think fathers need to make their children friends. Take care of them. I remember we're having problems with our girl in class, I think senior 2. And then when she came back for, I think P7, and then I started every Saturday taking her to school. And after, when I went back to pick her, I make sure we go somewhere nice and have lunch together. And that really encouraged her and really changed her. And we became great friends because of that. So that even when she went to secondary school, when it was visitation, that's what she says. Should be praying that it was Dad who came to see her at visitation. And that has continued up to this day. She's married, she's got a child, but still Dad's friend. So, dads, make your children your friends. And of course, when we're young, we don't realize that we shall one day need these children in our lives. So we leave it, and then when you are retired and they have grown up and they have gone different ways and the house is empty, you are saying, when will they come back home? But if you've been good with them, they will come. So, for example, my children, I didn't say I have 5 children. All of them are adults. All of them are married. Wow. But we made a point that Sunday lunch, they should come home.
Oh.
Of course, that's a very big, many parents will say, how can you expect your children to do that? But it has worked. Because we don't force it, but
It's
we encourage
natural.
it.
Like you've
we
been
encourage
friends
it.
all through,
Yes,
so they
we encourage.
yeah,
We say, if you can, please come home. There will be lunch, and they come. And now the children push the parents to come. We must go to Papa's house. So there is no way you can replace having children who are friends with anything. Because especially in old age, and the house is empty and everybody has left, you want people to come. And that's when you do your children most. And for parents who have not taken care when they are young, they have lost it. So that's why I'm encouraging, especially men. The mothers, they are with the children, they have nursed them, but the men, what are you giving your children apart from your presence with them? And then doing things with them also. I remember when they are like, my children were between 5 and 9, I did a trip with them all the way from Uganda to Mombasa.
Wow.
And back. And their mom was in South Africa. We met her in Nairobi. So from Kampala to Nairobi, I was the driver, I was the dad, I was the mother. So you cannot fail to get a reward for that, because you are putting in. By the way, I think you cannot harvest where you have not sown.
Exactly.
So we must sow in our children. We must sow in our families. You cannot separate your children from your spouse. So you have to sow into your family, the spouse, the children, and even relatives, because you need the wider circle for support. Yeah, so I think men who want to have a happy life, especially in old age. When you are younger, you don't need, you are active, you are busy, people are calling you what. Then you become old and the calls are no longer there, and you need your family and your children especially.
Wow. Oh, wow. Today, I'm so happy that you're here, because we are learning a lot from you out of your own experience. And thank you very much for allowing to pour out, your heart to this show today. Well, so in what ways can fathers positively impact their children's development and well-being?
Okay. Now, I think I told you at the beginning that fatherhood is God ordained. And I can't remember the figures, but probably you know what I'm going to talk about. That when a father goes to church, about, is it 79 or 92% of the children come to church. When a mother goes, about maybe 35% go to church. And if both of you don't go, only 5% children go to church. So you can see directly that we impact our children seriously because they try to model what we are doing.
Exactly.
Now, people will tend to do what they see rather than what they hear. So if you're a good father and you are always there and you pray with the children and you pray with the family and maybe even read the Bible with them, then that really helps them. Because I don't know what others people think. Even before we became Christians, our parents would insist we'd go to church. And because you are there listening every day, that helps you to change. Rather than people who are in families where people never went to church. And especially now we are saying, especially when the father goes, the children go. So there is a lot we can do to help our children, because they'll see us. They will see us, not hear us, but see us. What we are doing, how we are treating other people, how we are treating their mother, how you are welcoming your relatives. We have a very big family. We come from a very big family, and because of that, our children emulate that. The friendship, the shared love. Let me say that actually one of the biggest problems now we are hearing in the media is the debate whether we should hug our children, whether we should tell them we love them. This is what has been going around.
Trending, yeah.
Yes. And let me tell you, if you hug your children, if you tell them you love them, they'll grow up loving themselves and therefore loving other people. So we have to demonstrate. And especially the children will copy their fathers. Because we are a sign of authority.
Exactly.
Men are a sign of authority, especially if you are present. Yeah. Just a look at a child will send a message to them. But how will you do it unless you are present? You are at home, they see you. Sunday, for us, Sunday, we switch off the phones. It's family day. Family day. We focus on ourselves. And we think we are reaping returns from that. Yes.
Wow. And you cannot equate it to anything.
And you cannot equate it with anything, especially when you are old. When you are young, it doesn't matter. But when you are, I'm now 73.
Wow. Wow.
And been married to my wife for 40 years. So,
Kongs.
Thank you. So
Congratulations.
that's when you actually need your children. And now I'm moved from my children to my grandchildren. So the way I used to treat my children, I'm treating my grandchildren. And they love dad. Sorry, they love
Grandpa.
Papa, grandpa. Of course, we have no time to show you some things that we do with the grandchildren now, but I remember a few months back, we went with the first two grandchildren, and we were there in the village, just the two children and the two of us, me and my wife. And the boy is about 6. We went to visit the forest, and there's no way you can substitute that. The bond that is built between me and my grandson. Yes.
Wow. Life is good. Like I'm really so excited about how you're actually like sharing from your heart what you're doing, and like even at your age you're so proud. Like I'm so proud of myself that I was able to do all this. Yes. So really this is very good, and well done.
Thank you.
Well done. Thank you
Yes.
very much. What are some key qualities or characteristics that can make a successful father figure like you?
I think really you need to be born again.
True.
Because without the grace of God, you cannot do it. So you need to be born again. That's number one. Number two, you have to appreciate the role of a father, and therefore purpose to father your family, and not take it for granted that you are just there, but you are a father. You are supposed to work hard so that your children see that working hard is something that needs to be promoted, that you have to be honest, you have to be open, that you have to be, you can be trusted, both in the family but also in the community, because children will be picking information about you when you are in the community. For example, and then you set an example like our father. Everywhere we mention our father's name, people say, hey, your father. Now we try to emulate that.
Exactly.
And then our children, when they say, I am Masiko's son, people say, hey, we know Masiko and he was a good man. And you see, all that is very important. It impacts on the lives of the children. Rather than, you imagine, if they mention your name, if people are scared to mention their name because they think they'll be harmed, you have made mistakes here, you have antagonized people here. So you have to be an honest person, trustworthy, and people will be talking about you, saying, hey, that man, you see? Yeah.
Wow, I am really liking this, and I am really so happy of how you're talking about how a good name is better than riches.
Yes.
Yeah, these days people, are okay with doing anything for as long as they get money, but they forget that at the end of everything, your name is better than everything else. Yes, and that's so true, that as parents, it's something that we should look at. If we are long gone, what will they be talking about us? What will they be talking about us? It's something so interesting that we might not look at, but it's really important.
Yes.
Well, it's been a very good time to have you here on the show. Please give us your closing shots, and then we will close the show. Our time is already spent.
Okay, thank you very much for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to share. And I hope, even if just one person gets changed by what I've shared, that is very important. But I would encourage men, say parents, to love their children. Not only love them, show them, tell them that you love them. It is, I don't know what it is, but our parents used to shun away, especially if you are from my region. People used to shun away from telling people we love them, we do that, because they thought it was like a weakness. But I think it is a strength to be able to tell somebody, I love you. I
believe in you.
I believe in you. And to affirm our children, I think gives them a sense of strength to know that, yes, I'm appreciated. I don't care what other people think about me, but at least my parents affirm me. And they believe me, they trust in me, they support me. We have no time to go further, but thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I totally understand what you're talking about, and I attest to it. More people ask me, like, where is the confidence coming from? Where is the joy coming from? But like you're saying it, like our dad is one who has always, affirmed us. I believe in you. You can do it. You can actually go to great heights. Yes. Like he's your number one cheerleader. Right now, I can tell you the truth. He watches every show of mine.
Yes.
He will go on TV. He will watch from the beginning to the end. And tomorrow, he will call you. He will tell you, here you didn't do well. Here you did well. You actually do it. You need an upgrade. You need this. So what you're talking about, I believe it 110%. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Masiko. Honorable Win Masiko, shout outs. We are inviting you here. You will come with your Mr. and we have two sides of the story. But thank you very much. It's been a great pleasure. To you, our dear viewer, thank you very much for loving Family Hour, and thank you for loving me, your world's favorite host. I'll see you again next Friday, same time, same place. I love you. Bye-bye.